Hi, this is John from the Garmin Marine team, and today we want to show you some of the basic operations of an Echo Series fish finder. Garmin designed the Echo Series with fishermen in mind. From the incredibly sensitive receiver that can pick up even the smallest return to the big, bold, and bright displays, these units are built to perform. You'll appreciate the intuitive menus that help you navigate the Echo Series functions easily, even if you've been away from the boat for a few months. So let's take a closer look at the basic Echo Series fish finder menu options and show you some tips on how to operate the units. When you turn the unit on for the first time, you'll be asked a series of questions. What language do you want to use? What units of measure do you want to use for depth, temperature, speed, and distance? You can always change these later on if you want. Finally, you'll be asked if you want an alarm to sound if you get into shallow water. Once you make your choices, the unit will start displaying the sonar readout. Now, to orient everyone, this is the water column right underneath you. Your boat will be located on the surface here, and the bottom of the seafloor is here. The data all the way to the right is showing information about what is under the boat right now, while the image to the left shows older data that is behind the boat. The solid line here is the return from the bottom. The strongest return shows up in yellow, while any weaker returns would show up as blues or reds. Structure like rocks or wrecks will typically show up as a nice strong return in yellow. The numbers on the right show the sonar range. In this case, we are showing the water column from 0 to 40 feet with a bottom at about 30. Fish can be located anywhere in the water column and will vary in the strength of their return signal. You may see fish targets holding right above the bottom, or near structure, or suspended in the middle of the water column looking for conditions they like. Fish normally give a strong return thanks to their internal air bladders and are often recognizable by these arch shapes. Okay, so now that we know what we're looking at on the screen, let's take a closer look at how to operate the Echo Series units. This is the power button, of course. You use this button to turn the unit on. But did you know it also controls the brightness of the display? If you tap the power button once, you will see the backlight level. Hit the up and down arrows to change the level of the backlight to compensate for changes in viewing conditions. Or, here's a cool tip, you have 3 preset backlight levels, let's say for high and medium and low light. Just tap the power button to cycle through these preset levels instead of toggling up and down. Right below the power button is the menu button. All Echo Series functions can be accessed through this menu button. The first choice we come to is the page option. The Echo Series units can display depth information in a variety of different ways. Just tap the Enter button and you can choose between full screen fish finder, a split screen with a standard depth readout on one side and a zoom on the other, a flasher option like your dad used to have on his boat, a split frequency option that shows both the 200 kilohertz and 77 kilohertz returns from your transducer if your unit has the dual beam capabilities, a log option that can show you depth and temperature trends, and a numbers only option if you just want some basic depth information. A quick tip for you, if your Echo Series has this 4-way rocker switch, just tap the left or right arrows to quickly jump from one page view to the next. The next menu option is the range option. The unit will automatically change the depth range to try to give you the best bottom readout. But on occasion, you may want to manually override the range. Let's say you're in about 10 feet of water. The unit may switch between the 10-foot and 20-foot scale as the water depth changes slightly. And even though our smooth scaling feature means that you never lose the image of the bottom, the frequent range changes may bug you a little bit. So if you want to manually control the range, simply toggle down to range and hit enter. Choose manual, select the depth scale you want to change, and hit enter. Now here's a time-saving tip. Because you selected the range scale last, if you want to change the range scale again, you can simply hit the up and down arrows. This instantly takes you to the range selection menu where you can toggle up and down and make your choice. Next up is the gain setting. Gain will increase or decrease the sensitivity of the transducer. Increase the gain if you want to see more targets, but increase the gain too much and you get noise all over the screen. Where you set the gain is completely up to you and can change from day to day depending on the water conditions. The new auto gain settings constantly monitor the transducer returns and will change the gains instantly to give you the best picture. If your Echo Series units have dual frequency capabilities and you are on the split frequency display, you can even set the gains for both frequencies independently. Your next menu choice is the zoom function. The zoom function allows you to look closely at certain areas of the water column while eliminating unproductive water. You can either choose a full screen zoom or a split screen zoom, with normal view on one side and the zoom on the other. You can also choose to have the Echo unit auto-select the best zoom picture for you, or you can manually select the zoom span and depth by toggling down to manual, making your changes to the span and depth settings, and selecting Done. The depth line option in the menu can be very useful. Let's turn it on by toggling down to Depth Line and choosing On. You can see we have superimposed a line on your depth screen with a readout of the depth on the right. This can be very useful if you're trolling or jigging and want to know at exactly what depth the fish are holding. And here's a useful and just plain cool feature, the pause and rewind option. The Echo units will store several screens worth of data in their memory and will allow you to review the screens to gather more information. Let's say you're using your Echo Series unit to scout for structure or ledges where fish may congregate, and you have to turn away from your display. When you come back, you can pause your sonar and even rewind the display to see what you missed. So now you should feel more comfortable with adjusting the basic settings on your Echo Series displays to customize the view to your liking. If you have any more questions about your Echo Series fish finders, go to garmin.com/marine or ask any one of our authorized installing dealers. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the water.